Finally, one of you raised a really interesting issue that I just wanted to bring before the class in general. Um, here's what you said, sort of paraphrasing parts of it. Feminist epistemology appears to escape a problem for allegedly ideological views by not requiring any particular commitments. So this is just me explaining that. Remember, Longino says it's not the content that makes an epistemology feminist, it's the method. Okay, so this person continues and says, however, if that's so, it seems that any evaluative ideology could use Longino's maneuver. And certain socialists could speak of socialist epistemology, while libertarians could speak of libertarian epistemology, and so forth. It seems that they could all claim, look, we don't require any particular commitments about the content of your epistemological theory. Instead, we just adopt a way of approaching epistemological problems. The socialist epistemologist emphasizes the contributions of the worker, and the libertarian epistemologist emphasizes the importance of liberty to epistemic undertakings, and so forth. And this person asks, what this would suggest is that feminist epistemology isn't unique. Rather, it simply belongs to a class of overtly evaluative epistemologies. And if this is true, the conclusion could raise some specter of epistemic relativism. So that's what your classmate said. I think that's a really, really interesting point. And I don't have a lot to say about what would make feminist epistemology special from these other ones, beyond the following thing, which is that people have generally pursued feminist epistemology in a way they haven't pursued a libertarian or socialist epistemology. Although there are people who call themselves epistemological anarchists and stuff like this. What has come to happen in feminist epistemology, at least among many practitioners who would go by that name, is they focus on the role gender plays, but they've also recently been focusing on the role other categories of disadvantage and oppression play, like race or maybe class, like the worker or something like this. And so feminist epistemology has sort of maybe in some cases gone beyond just thinking about gender to think about other sorts of the role or these sort of assumptions other things play, where you want to do epistemology in a way that reveals these differences. Now, this doesn't fully answer the question, but I think it's important to note that feminist epistemology has sort of become a field that is wider than just about women or women's role, women's place in epistemological theorizing. Nonetheless, I think this is a cool question. Could there be other ways of doing epistemology, if it makes sense at all to talk about feminist epistemology in the way Longino does? Does it make sense to talk really about socialist epistemology or libertarian epistemology, not as having particular goals, contents or commitments of content, but as having particular ways of approaching epistemic problems? I think we should think hard about what might be different about the feminist picture. And when I think about it, I can't think about much that would be different other than the just long and very deep history of theorizing about feminism in general that sort of gives a background that helps understand this. But certainly there are long histories of theorizing of socialist theory and libertarian theory as well. So it is an interesting question why those wouldn't have become having such a big role in epistemology as feminism does.